Guys, Tracy here, Kansas Garden Guy, Summer Pick Farms. How you guys doing today? Well, I just thought I'd take you along. I'm working on something different today. Working on fence. As you can see, I'm setting fence posts in. I've got holes dug down the line here for this new area that we're tarping off, and I'm setting fence posts. As you can see, I'm doing it by hand. This is how I was taught when I was a kid. You know, I always say there's always a couple things you learn when you grow up in the country. It only takes you one time to learn how to do it. It's like a lesson for life. The first one is going to be baling hay. You're taught how to bale hay correctly the first time, and that's all your grandpa or your dad tolerated. So he told you how to do it the first time, he told you how to throw bales on a trailer, told you how to stack bales in the barn. You were expected to learn that from that moment on. The other one is setting fence. You know, you guys have heard me say we got 5 acres here, and I grew up here my whole life. We moved here in the early 70s when I was a little kid, and we fenced all this in for horses when I was in grade school. And me, my little brother, and my dad did all this. So we've probably set 50 or 60 hedge posts just like this. Now, with the invention of the auger, which we had augers on tractors back then, we weren't rich enough to have one. That's why we did it like this. Even a box store and buy a $250 auger and drill these holes in an afternoon and have an auger, you know, if I ever need one again. But, you know, there's something to be said about putting in some hard work on something like as simple as a fence. Because every time I look at this fence, I'm going to remember this day. Every time I remember this day, I'm going to remember how to set fence by my dad. Every time I remember setting fence by my dad, I'm going to know that my grandpa taught my dad how to set fence when he was a kid. It goes on. It's something that's lost. And you know, sometimes I like to do fence posts like this because it makes me remember a simpler time. You know, it makes me remember, I could remember going right back to when I set those posts in the corner with my dad, or those posts up there by the driveway. You know, it takes me back 40 years thinking about hand stamping clay to get these posts tight, and drawing posts together to tighten fence or tighten barbed wire and stuff like that. You know, it's a simpler time, but it's a better time. I think that's when America was really, really well. You hear the old hound dog barking at the neighbor. Looks like she stopped and picked up a turtle. But I'm gonna get back to it, guys. I just thought I'd break you in for that for a second, but I'm going to take you on this journey as we set all this fence, so I got to get back to it. Hey guys, Tracy here, Kansas Garden Guys, Summer Pick Farms. How are you guys doing today? Well, I see you're following me around again today, and unfortunately I am doing the same boring thing I was doing yesterday, digging fence posts. I don't know if you guys have ever had to manually dig fence posts by hand, either with a jobber, what I called a jobber, or I guess you want to call it an auger. You know, this is hard work, especially here in Kansas. We have probably about 6 inches of good black dirt and about 7,000 feet of clay. Well, here I am trying to get this last row. I dug 4 of them yesterday, and these were a little hard here because these trees suck all the water out, so this ground is rock hard. So I poured a 5-gallon bucket of water in each one of these holes. Oh yeah, before I get too far, if you guys are wondering, by no means is this a how to build fence tutorial video. I'm only setting these corner posts at 3 feet deep, and a lot of times you want to go 3.5 to 4 foot deep on these hedge posts when you put them in the ground, because you're pulling long spans of field fence or barbed wire or combination of both or whatever you're doing. I've only got a 100-foot span here. That's my longest span of fence. So I'm doing 3 foot on each of the corner posts, and then I'm doing 3 foot on the center post between the two. So I've got hedge posts, 2 T-posts, hedge posts, 2 T-posts, and then the corner post that's going back east to my garden, which is only 50 foot. So by no means am I going to pull. I'm only using welded wire here, so I am not going to pull this with any force to tighten this fence up. So I'm only going 3 foot deep on these corner posts here, and that should give me plenty of bite to keep this fence taut. I just thought I'd throw that out there because I know somebody's going to ask. I happen to have 4 8-foot T-posts driven in the ground here. If you remember, I use this with the wire to hold my plants up. You notice I've got my old trusty K30, and now I'm going to pull these posts out of the ground. These posts are they're stuck in the ground about 2.5 feet. I can't pull them out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little genius farm boy, country boy kind of ingenuity to get these pipes out. It's all math. I know when we were in school, we always said math didn't do anything for us later on we grew up. Trust me, everything I do here is math. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this as a fulcrum to pull this out, and let me show you how it works, guys. I'm gonna put you down right here. What you do is you wanna get something round. A lot of people use a tire or a wheel. I happen to use these culvert pipes because we had these. The base of the pole you're gonna pull out of the ground like this. Grab you a good log chain, put it over the top of the post, pull you about 1.5 feet of slack, and go towards the bottom of the base of this pole as tight as you can with the chain. And then what I do is I come right back up like this. Like that. And that there, guys, is a quick version of how to pull T-posts out of the ground. I hope that helped you. Carry on with the videos. I hope you guys enjoyed the short little videos that I did on building this garden fence. Now let me take you a walk around here real quick and let me explain kind of what I'm doing here. So if you guys are curious, wonder what's going on, I can kind of explain to you. Let me get this camera turned around. And I've got my 7 beds here. I've got my area over there that's going to have 10 beds, 10 beds by 55 foot long there, and there are 8 beds or 7 beds by 65 foot, and then including the 4 inside the hoop house. So what I am doing is I am putting 6 foot wire up. Sorry guys, I catch my breath. It's been a long couple days. So I'm putting 6 foot welded fence wire up to try to keep the deer out. Basically, I'm trying to keep the rabbits out. The deer are going to be, they still may jump a 6 foot fence. It's going to be hard to say if they do or not. I've always used 6 foot fence and I've never had any deer problems so far. So maybe the deer I have here are kind of iffy on what's going on because of the dog being close and everything. That's probably got a part to it. So what I did was, if you guys noticed, I used 5'6", 8 foot fence posts. 5'6" means it could vary from 5 inches wide to 6 inches wide, and they're 8 foot long. So I sunk them down, and I've got T-posts every 12.5 feet, 8 foot T-posts driven in the ground. What you saw me do with the string was, the string line is from, I set a string line out before I dug the holes. And then after I dug the holes, I put the posts in the ground. This was the last post I had to get because I forgot one yesterday when I was at the store. So I had to go back this morning, get another pole to finish this out. So what I've done is that blue line there, when I put that blue baling twine line on there, what that did is let me know where my T-post needed to be. So that way I was in line with my fence post. If you guys can see that, everything is in line. An inch down on each one of these T-posts because the ground elevation is going to be a little bit different. So some of these T-posts are going to be sticking higher than the others. What I did was I dug the fence posts to a depth so they were all the same 70 inches tall all the way across. They're all 70 inches. So what that told me was if I went down an inch on each one of these posts, that would take me down to 69 inches. And you saw me drive home these T-posts to right below the string. That puts these at 68.5 inches. Fence is pretty darn straight for being me doing it by myself. But each one of these corners, I don't think I showed the video. A lot of people's going to say, well, you know, when you put these in the ground, we have clay about 2 foot down. So these are 3 foot in the ground, 2.5 to 3 foot. That one over there is 2.5 foot because of the elevation. These are all 3 foot in the corners because that one's not, I'm not going to pull from that one. I'm going to pull from this one to that one. So that one's not going to be a pull point. This will be a pull point. So what I did was I pinned the corner posts into the ground. And you may not know what that is. What it is you go down and you take a 2x4 that's treated 2x4, about 2-3 foot long. Well, 3 foot long is a little excessive. Probably 2 foot long. And you dig a trench along your pole this way, or both, depending on what direction you're going to pull hard from. You drive that 2x4 into the ground about 6-8 inches below level. Then you pack your clay on top of that. And what that does is it gives it more force to when you're pulling this fence post this way, that 2x4 distributes the load across the earth and it keeps that post from pulling out. I know it's a little excessive for just a /deer/rabbit/garden fence, but like I said, everything I try to do, I was taught to do it the right way or don't do it at all. Same thing with here. I've got 2x4 buried in the ground here and a 2x4 buried in the ground that way, so I could pull this 100-foot run. I could pull from here. As you can see, I've got my field fence, my welded wire laying down here. I need to go get another roll, 2 rolls of it, 5 foot in the ground here. The reasoning was because I had a bunch of these old telephone poles already, and I wanted to use them because of this gate. But what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to use a 48-inch fence here, and then use a 60-foot fence along there, which I'm not sure if that's going to bother me by aesthetics or not. What's going to suck is I may have to pull these 2 poles out of the ground and go get 2 more poles and to make it all even, because it may bother me. As you can see on the other side, it's just got like a ladybug, little sunflowers, just a little yard art stuff you can get at the Dollar General or anything like that. And all I did was tack welded it to the wire just to kind of give it a little bit of fun look to it. And I may put something on the back side of here that says like Summer Pick Farms or Welcome to the Garden or something like that. But anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to finally leave it. I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of the newer format where I don't really do a lot of talking, just kind of do the work and then explain later. Leave a comment down below. If you know somebody that's into gardening just like we are, make sure you share that. Make sure you share it on your Facebook page. Let people know what's going on. Anyway, guys, have a good week. Be very safe. Be careful, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.